Why did Jungkook refuse the company car? What happened right after his military discharge left fans in tears? Why would a global superstar, adored by millions, worth millions, and backed by one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world, reject the comfort of a luxurious company vehicle and instead choose something so ordinary? Why would Jungkook, BTS's golden magne, who just completed 18 months of intense military service, step out in his uniform not into a sleek, black car with tinted windows, but into the arms of his father, climbing into the family car like any other son coming home? What happened on June 11, 2025, wasn't just a military discharge. It was a homecoming, raw, real, and deeply human. The world was watching, expecting a grand entrance or at least a subtle nod to celebrity status. What they got instead was something that left even seasoned reporters in stunned silence: humility. The cameras were already rolling when Jungkook stepped out from the base in Yongkyon. His uniform still crisp, his salute still firm. Standing beside him was Jimin, equally composed, equally proud. But it was Jungkook's next move that sparked thousands of headlines and millions of hearts racing. He looked around, declined the black company car waiting for him just outside the military gates, and walked toward a modest vehicle parked farther away. The car his father had driven all the way from Busan. No fanfare, no entourage, just family. Why did he do that? The crowd didn't understand at first. Was he being defiant? Was there a hidden message? But then came the words that ARMY will likely never forget. "I want to go home in my dad's car," Jungkook said, his voice soft but steady, loaded with 27 years of memories, military sweat, and the grounding warmth of home. "I've waited for this moment for so long, to go home, like a normal son, in the same seat where I grew up falling asleep during road trips." In that moment, the global idol wasn't just an idol. He was a son, a brother, a boy who missed home, and the internet exploded. Twitter, Weverse, Instagram, even X, formerly Twitter. Every platform was flooded with footage and photos of Jungkook's emotional return. "He's still that humble boy from Busan," one fan posted. "He hasn't changed, and that's why we love him." Within hours, hashtags like #WelcomeHomeJungkook, #JungkookDischargeDay, and #JungkookDadCar were trending globally. But there's more behind this seemingly simple choice. Industry insiders revealed that HYBE had arranged a full reception: luxury van, private security, press coordination. Everything was prepared to escort Jungkook and Jimin with full honors. Yet Jungkook had quietly requested to opt out. He wanted no limousine, no media coverage at the gate, and certainly no spectacle. All he asked was for privacy, and for his dad to come pick him up, just like the old days. This wasn't just a statement of humility, it was a declaration of values. After being in one of the most rigid systems in the country for 18 months, the South Korean military, Jungkook could have stepped back into the spotlight like royalty. But he chose to step back into the arms of his roots. What does that say about him? This is the same Jungkook who, during his military service, released Never Let Go, a song he dedicated to ARMY while in uniform. The same Jungkook who documented his journey in the soul-bearing film I Am Still. The same Jungkook who didn't ask to be treated like a king but chose to serve like any other man in his 20s, quietly, with discipline, and without exemptions. And now, as he steps back into civilian life, he doesn't want gold-plated stages or ceremonial garlands. He just wants dinner with his family, maybe some time with Bam, his beloved dog, maybe a quiet walk along the Han River. The moment was so powerful that even media outlets struggled to describe it. It wasn't scripted. It wasn't strategic PR. It was just real. Jungkook had every reason and every permission to flaunt, to pose, to show off. But he didn't. This move, as simple as it may seem, sent shockwaves through South Korean pop culture. When asked why he didn't want a luxury ride, Jungkook answered with a smile, "Because this is the ride that matters." What follows the story is just as breathtaking. A source from Bigot Music confirmed that after arriving home, Jungkook and his family spent the evening having a quiet dinner. No after-party, no media round, just rice, soup, and laughter. His father, who had driven more than 3 hours to pick him up, reportedly said, "I didn't expect him to ask me. I thought the company would do it all. But he told me, "Appa, can you come get me?" And he did. Meanwhile, anticipation is rising for the upcoming fan event in Yongkyon. Scheduled just days after his discharge, the event is set to reunite Jungkook and Jimin, fondly known as Jungkook, with the ARMY who have waited nearly 2 years for this moment. Fans are already camping out, designing banners, and organizing live watch parties across multiple time zones. But even amid the frenzy, the one scene everyone keeps replaying isn't of stage lights or confetti. It's of a simple young man walking to a car door held open by his dad, and that's the story. Not the fame, not the stats, not the records. But the heart. Jungkook's journey didn't just end with a salute at the military gate. It started again with something more profound, a return to humility. At a time when celebrities are expected to flaunt their status, here's someone who'd rather share quiet moments with his parents than bask in flashing cameras. And isn't that what makes him a true icon? Jungkook's next steps remain uncertain, though rumors are swirling about a new solo comeback or possibly a surprise performance at the upcoming BTS reunion later this year. Sources claim there's already music in the works, but Jungkook has asked for time. Time to reconnect, to rest, to remember what it means to be just Jungkook, not the golden magne. Even in the face of scandal, such as the recent stock theft incident involving Jungkook's name, he's shown calm and class, choosing not to stoke drama. That's part of what's made his return so powerful, not just what he did, but what he didn't do. He didn't let the industry define him. He didn't let fame change him. He didn't let pressure dictate his choices. He just asked, "Can I ride home in Dad's car?" And with that one question, he reminded the world that no matter how far we go, it's how we return that defines you. So, what comes next? Will we see Jungkook on stage again? Will Jungkook release something together? Will BTS finally announce that long-awaited full group comeback after Suga finishes service later this June? One thing is certain. When that moment comes, Jungkook won't arrive in a limo. He'll arrive in love, driven, perhaps, by the same man who once buckled him in the back seat after kindergarten. Because some things, even for the world's biggest star, never change. And maybe, just maybe, that's why we never stop loving him. And just when you think the story has reached its emotional peak, it takes an even deeper turn. In a world where headlines are often dominated by scandals, extravagance, and inflated egos, Jungkook's quiet decision echoed louder than any media frenzy. Fans from across the globe didn't just applaud, they cried. Many of them saw themselves in that moment. Not the fame, not the millions, but the simple, soul-healing wish to be with family. In a time when many young people feel the pressure to perform constantly, to succeed at any cost, here was the youngest member of BTS choosing softness over spectacle, and it wasn't lost on the ARMY. Weverse was flooded with heartfelt letters from fans, not just Koreans, but people from Indonesia, Brazil, the US, India, and across Europe. Jungkook reminded me to call my dad today, one wrote. Another said, "I haven't hugged my mom in months." Watching Jungkook go home like that made me realize what truly matters. A journalist who covered the event wrote in her online column, "It was the first time in my 10-year career covering K-pop that I cried while writing an article." And can you blame her? Because what Jungkook did was more than just newsworthy. It was deeply human. And perhaps, in a world where we are constantly rushing, chasing dreams, checking notifications, and building brands, what we need more than ever is someone to remind us that being real is the most powerful form of fame. But even more surprises were still to come. That on the very same night, an unannounced Weverse post appeared. Home. Rice. Laughter. Thank you for waiting. I missed you. JK, that was it. No hashtags. No photos. Just words. And yet those words were enough to crash the servers for a moment. Within minutes, the post had over 3 million likes and nearly 1 million comments. The quiet simplicity of it? A stark contrast to the way most celebrities try to come back after military service. Instead of announcing a comeback, Jungkook announced comfort, and perhaps the biggest surprise was yet to unfold. A secret video recorded by Jungkook's father, later shared anonymously and lovingly, ARMY speculates, with Jungkook's permission. In it, you don't see Jungkook at first. just the dashboard of the family car. The camera shakes slightly, the way it does when held by someone nervous. Then there's a voice. "Are you ready?" Jungkook laughs in reply. "I've been ready since I left. Let's go home, Appa." No press conference, no exclusive interview, just a ride home. And yet, this small, grainy clip was viewed over 50 million times within 24 hours. HYBE declined to comment further on the clip, simply stating, "We respect the privacy and choices of our artists." But fans had already seen what they needed to see. They had already felt it. This wasn't a comeback stunt. This was real life, and Jungkook wasn't the only one making headlines. Jimin, his closest brother-in-arms during their military service, had also chosen to keep things low-key. Though rumors continue to swirl about a potential romantic involvement with actress Song Doon, Jimin has maintained silence, another sign of the maturity both artists have cultivated during their time away. Together, Jimin and Jungkook, nicknamed Jungkook by fans, reminded the world that growth sometimes happens far from the stage, in the barracks, not the boardroom, in a hug from dad, not a handshake with executives. What makes this moment even more remarkable is the timing. With Suga set to complete his alternative service on June 21st, whispers of a full-group BTS comeback are no longer whispers, they're roaring winds of anticipation. There's even speculation about a surprise performance or album drop as early as fall 2025. But whether that's true or not, one thing is clear. The way Jungkook returned has already shaped the emotional tone of what comes next. This isn't just the comeback of a star, it's the rebirth of the soul behind the star. And for ARMY, that means everything, because they didn't fall in love with a perfectly curated public figure. They fell in love with a boy who once cried on stage, who ran barefoot in documentaries, who blushed when fans screamed his name. They fell in love with the Jungkook who tries too hard sometimes, who messes up choreo during rehearsals, who stays up late recording vocals until his voice breaks, because he cares that much. And now, after facing the rigors of military life, after serving his nation with humility and pride, Jungkook has returned, not with fireworks, but with footsteps on familiar ground. And yet, with all of this beauty and symbolism, there's one final, haunting question that continues to echo among fans. What if this is just the beginning of a new Jungkook we've never met before? Not the golden magne, not just the main vocalist, not even the worldwide pop star, but the man, the creator, the thinker, the son, the brother, the artist whose next chapter might be more soulful, more stripped down, more vulnerable than anything he's ever released before. Will his next album reflect this emotional shift? Will we see acoustic sessions instead of EDM-fueled stage anthems? Will his lyrics become more about longing and home than hype and hits? ARMY can't help but wonder and wait. Because what Jungkook gave the world on June 11th wasn't just a warm moment, it was a mirror, a reminder of the things that truly matter, and whether he's back on the mic next month, next year, or just staying quiet for a little longer. The image of him walking into his father's car, smiling like a little boy again, will remain etched in pop culture history, not because it was loud, but because it was honest. And in the noisy world we live in, that kind of honesty, that's the loudest sound of all.